we have returned once again, everybody. We are going to be continuing our blathering on about our score chart sheet system graph thingamajigger that we have.
That sounds official.
So,
in a way.
I just was going to ask the people in the audience specifically whether or not, we have Mr. Fisk's opinion as far as what he thinks about some of the choices that we made. But what about you guys? What about your thoughts?
Prize lows, cons, pros.
Yeah.
Shot puts, outputs. Inputs.
What is the most crazy score that you think we gave?
What are the bafflements, the wonderments, the enticements?
I'm gonna
something I'll point out
the astoundments
while we're waiting for some responses back. One of the things I'll point out is the videos that we had that have the biggest response and how crappy we scored those knives on the score chart. Things like the Airlight Tantos, or the Airlights in general, things like the Provoke, I believe, by CRKT, the Dewhawk by CRKT.
The Dewhawk one, yep.
The Dewhawk exploded as far as the views and how many people watched it, and we shit all over that knife.
It's got almost 1,000 more minute time views than the next runner-up.
The Dewhawk's number one still?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
As far as the Airlights go, we may have scored them fairly low, but I think we all spoke about them positively.
Yep.
What did we rank that, actually?
The Airlights?
We ranked it number 24, actually, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
For what it is?
I know it was a high scoring or a high watch.
High views. Yeah. That one got posted in like Blade forums or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, the floppy kitty.
Kitty.
That's one floppy kitty.
Her nickname is Crumples for a reason.
Yep. Is the large Higo Shun steak knife, is that ranked number 4, like overall?
Yeah, after a gold class mini Crooked River.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
And the Pardue. Okay, so Fisk commented on the Pardue and how the ergos are terrible, but it's a dagger, dude. Like, it's based off of a dagger, and so the flat fits in for the poke and the factors with the dagger. That's all I can tell you.
The Canadian stabbing.
Yeah, it's the Canadian stabbing grid, indeed.
Um,
So potentially for like EDC use, maybe we did overscore it as well. But we all love coffin handles. Like
you guys might have overscored it.
Nigel gave it a 72, but
did Nigel put it on the hate train?
No. 72 is still a decent score for Nigel. That's not bad.
And we said about 3 times in the earlier videos that that's a good score for Nigel. Like, that kept coming up as we were rewatching, trying to figure out what everyone had scored and everything. I heard that come up at least 3 times.
I'm a critical bastard. What can I say?
Yeah, there is that. With giant fucking meat mitts. So that also factors into things. I'm sure most reviews have that brought up, just the size of your hands compared. Because I don't know if people have seen, I almost want to get a side-by-side picture of Paul's hand and Nigel's hand, just to show you the range of what we're working with here. No, your hand isn't that much smaller than mine, but it's even like a side of all our hands actually wouldn't be bad. But okay, as far as that Pardue not being good for EDC, I call bullshit. I carried the one that Dennis has right now. It's an S30V blade, carbon fiber handles. I carried that at a factory job for over half a year. That knife was awesome. Such a thin, slicey little thing. But
the Pardue itself? Yeah.
And the limited version was fully flat ground too, so it's an even better choice than the dagger grind in terms of a good cutter.
What I was gonna say, yeah.
What was the blade steel on that again? It was pretty high end.
S30 on the carbon fiber. It was S90 on the international.
That's the one I was
So
curious about. Yeah.
That's
Red
a
G10 with
quick way to,
S90
I think, all of our hearts, too, is S90.
Oh, gee, I don't know. A thin,
on a
spicy
thin
blade.
edge. Yeah. On a
And
bug
it was
out.
like very reasonably priced as well for being the exclusive and
Yeah, it
limited stuff.
was like, was it as cheap as like $250 on our shelf, like $250 Canadian?
It was like
Yeah.
2, I think, Canadian of the dollars, or
Yeah.
yeah.
Kind of sad I didn't pull the trigger on that thing, to be honest.
The other one I'll actually say is the Shaman. I'm surprised the Shaman made top 10. That thing's a beast.
It is.
Like, it's such
I like
a big knife to have in your pocket. It's unbelievable. Like,
Yeah.
and I know the masses like it. A lot of people really love the Shaman, but
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Lion Steel SR1's not much smaller.
no. Neither's the Contigo either. Or the Sunbird.
Yes. Well, okay, but the Contigo as well, like slimness in every dimension.
It's a little bit more narrow, for sure. Yeah.
And I don't carry the Subbird. It's just a novelty piece for me.
But that rounding on that G10 is just so nice.
Yeah.
It is, the Shaman. And if you're going to carry a big boy knife, then it's not a bad one, but I'm surprised that a Shaman makes our top 10. So.
Well, this was the Sprint version that we were looking at as well. This is the, and I meant to amend this earlier, but it was the S90V version with the carbon fiber.
It's a good looking knife.
Yeah, out of all the Shamans, that's not a bad Shaman. To Shaman. Yeah.
And again, it's S90, again, which is kind of cheat codes into our hearts. And it's not nearly as thin and slicey of an edge, but...
You made that too long. No, that's just too long.
Oh, it's clipping. Damn it.
I
Just gotta get rid of Sprint here.
just
Way to go, Joe.
gotta be critical on you, you know?
There we go. What else? Need a new column that's just Nigel score plus 5 or 10 points. I mean, at least he's consistent. Like,
I was going to say, his point is as valid as anybody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what would be the point of handicapping any of us so we get our scores more the same as everyone else? That will just make the scores more into the same, so the knives will all be scored the same. Like, no, we want the variance, we want the differences.
So I got a question.
All right.
Mhm.
In the number 17, 18, 19 category, there is 77.25s, and all 4 of us were here for the scoring. So those are accurate. You're not rounding up by thirds. Why did those get the rankings that they did? The Nightstick, the Siren, the Mini Bug Out.
As opposed to being like the Siren mini bug out nightstick.
That's a 3-point spread on a tie score. So why does the Mini Bug Out beat a Siren?
I'm not entirely sure why the sort system works the way it does there. I may need to build in an extra check.
High and lows. The Nightstick's got a lower score, but it's also got it's got a much higher score. Holy crap, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to push the Nightstick into a category it doesn't belong in.
Yeah.
Good job, Joe.
Yay. Well, I mean, I gotta do what I gotta do.
And to comment on Ben's little comment about the -5, -5, +5, I don't think we all belong in the -5s and +5s. I think there's some -3s, and Nigel might be a +7 depending on the knife. And yeah,
but that's the whole point of this, is that there's 4 people talking about it, right?
Well, and one
just
guy.
because you like a knife doesn't mean I'm gonna like a knife. And
If one out of 4 guys really hates a knife, there's gonna be a sizable portion of people out there who probably really hate that knife. So
there's going to be a Spyderco smock that no one hates except for Nigel.
Yeah. I mean, shit like that just...
And I shouldn't say that. I bet you other people don't like the smock too. I'm being a dick about it, but yeah.
But as far as those equal scores being arranged the way they are, yeah, I'll try and come up with a fix over my
I'm just
weekend here.
saying
No, it's a good point.
that maybe things like the siren that is a closer spread deserve to be higher than.
Mhm. There's not as much variance in the score, so that means it was more even for the average, so
And
it should
actually,
get higher.
here's something that's funny: the mini bug out and the siren have exact same numbers by exact same people. Is that a typo, or did we actually
No,
score?
I think those are there was a couple of those where it's like, oh, this is odd, but
That's
literally
funny.
every person scored it. The mini bug out and the siren exactly the same for exactly.
yeah.
Are you guys not just like spinning numbers and hoping something happens?
Well,
I'm
we'd
pretty
have.
all the time.
sure that's a typo.
I don't know. Let me check my
Joe's
phone
been
now.
cutting and pasting all wild and willy over here.
I don't think so.
I don't know, with the excitement he had for this thing when he got it all together, and he geeked out about how many different columns and how many different ways he could sort it and stuff like that. I believe he spent the time to type it all out rather than cutting and pasting.
And even that long-term review,
here's
I
the
would
thing.
probably give those two knives a different score now than
Yeah.
I did back then. I'm pretty sure a mini bug out and a siren wouldn't get the same score from me anymore. I don't know about the rest of you all and which way it would go, but
Yeah,
I'm
hard
just
to
saying.
say.
I'm just saying.
I'm combing through my emails now to find the paperwork on that because I'm actually
That
curious.
sounds fun. That sounds fun.
Oh yeah,
Saying in chat,
you did
there
this
are
to
a
me.
few episodes where Nigel's hatred is commented on. A few is, yeah, we rip into him a few different times.
It's a good talking point.
A 5-point or a 6-point spread on your lowest compared to my lowest. And like I said, there's no way that some of those scores should have been way lower. Like I said, Boilermaker, I was a generous son of a bitch on with that knife for sure.
Mhm.
Okay, Justin just asked, what's the average over all our scores
Oh,
each?
Yeah, like each person's average.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I can figure that out individually, so just give me a sec here. Let's see.
Hey, Justin, here's another one. Hypotenuse. Just looking out for you, buddy.
I'm glad that's where we've gone.
Just helping a friend.
Mhm. And yeah, as Joe's figuring this out, I'll take the time here to fill it in with reminding everyone to check out previous videos to see where a bonus question is to get tossed into our giveaway.
Indeed.
Yes, because there are things and prizes.
Bonus giveaway being a comment on the right video with the right question with the right answer, and you'll be entered.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. Yeah. Just like Eric Glasser. Good night, folks. No, we're not ending early.
That's the worst.
Good.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
And we're out. Good
Okay.
night.
So it works properly for Dennis because he was there for every single episode, didn't miss any.
Booyah,
Same
bitches.
thing for.
Booyah.
Well, it's hard when it's at your house. And
Just don't do them.
Nigel's score, he hasn't missed any of the episodes either. So it's a little bit suspect for myself and for Paul. I have to make sure that these empty boxes aren't being calculated in a weird way. But Dennis's average has been a 73.766 or 7676. Nigel's has been a 68.8 for an average, which honestly is kind of on a little bit higher than I expected. But I mean, he has given some pretty high scores, and he's given some moderate scores. So
You've had some surprising scores when it's come to knives that the rest of us, like the LA and things like that, where you're like, no, it's fun and cute and I like it type of thing, right? Like, or the Tengu tool.
Yeah.
Rather than the Tengu flipper.
The tool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So there's been some surprises come out of the woodwork.
Yep. This is true.
And then as far as a grading average goes, just because I don't have that score in front of me, 73.67 would be what now? I gotta look that up. As well as the what is yours?
I want to say it's a C.
A 73 is a C plus.
Okay.
Yeah, 75 is a B minus.
So in all the knives I've reviewed, I give them a C plus. Go knives.
Go knives.
Oh, so I just subtract the.
Actually, that's interesting. I gave it a C apparently.
And I think those are right, Joe. I really do think those averages are right, because I think if you guys had empty boxes, it would be more skewed than how close all of those numbers are. If it was giving you zeros or hundreds or things like that type of thing, I imagine that your score would be significantly different.
Did my score just go 74? Jesus.
Yeah, so Paul's average is 74.9, my average is 75.5.
There we go.
So,
did you actually take those numbers out, or?
Yeah, so what I had to do was read the entire scale and then subtract the number of blank boxes here by the total number of reviews. So for me, it's all my scores divided by 60, because I was there for 60 as opposed to 65. Paul was there for 61 as opposed to 60, but you and Nigel were both there for 65 episodes.
F&A, pound on that. Yeah.
We get a gold star for attendance.
Apparently. We're one of those classmates.
Again, to be fair, it's at Dennis's house with Nigel's camera.
This is also over a period of what, like 2.5 years?
About 2 years that we started to do the scoring.
Oh, yeah.
And I was gone for a month of that.
This is true. So I have no excuse, really. That's what that comes down to.
Well, you've got them, but they're kind of weak.
I actually expected this. I expected me and Joe to be above Dennis. I was a little bit surprised when I had a 70. So does that go to no? So would you count a 74.9 as a 75?
Yes, you're rounding up.
It would get rounded
Okay,
up.
so that's a B minus.
Next closest, so yeah.
Do you guys take a little bit of ecstasy before you grade stuff and just like, oh, everything's so nice and that's why?
No.
It's velvety.
It's
super, super velvety.
It's so velvety.
How you felt this thing, man?
Yeah, one episode you just see me touching a perfectly smooth handled knife. I'm like, oh man, this fluting is amazing. Just
it is. Don't judge me for this. I can feel the judgment through the internet.
On a perfectly smooth knife, yeah. What was Morgan's average? Now that I'm looking at this.
Yeah, what is Morgan's average?
That's interesting. It's interesting.
How many?
He was there for 3 episodes. 1, 2, 3. His average is a 75.6.
Okay, right on par.
Yeah.
And by on par, you mean the highest out of all of us?
But by 0.1% over me, but yeah.
Okay, 0.1. Okay.
Yeah. And actually for those
Did I say by how much? Yeah.
Oh, well, hey, he agreed with you on the Paisan, whereas the other two guys, me and Nigel here didn't necessarily agree.
Well, the thing is, you see,
you're wrong.
That's where I was going. Actually, you beat me to it. But yeah,
that being said, he only gave the Akuchi a 70, and everyone else gave it an 80 as a minimum. Interesting.
Okay, but the other two guys are me and Nigel, and we both really like the Akuchi. Especially for a lefty
Dude.
going towards a compression lock that's not really that lefty friendly. That's a statement, man. That's a statement.
I'm on board with you. I gave it an 83.
They need to smock button lock that shit, and I'd be all over it.
Yeah, if they could fit a little button in there, that'd be cool. Paul looked like he was going to say something there for a sec.
I was gonna say just the fact that my score is as like my average score is as high as it is. I think when it comes to like work and stuff like that, I tend to sell people on things based off of the like just how enthusiastic I can be about the things that I'm talking about. Like
So
I can take appreciation of a lot of things for a lot of different reasons.
we looked at what everyone's average, and we looked at everyone's lowest, but we didn't look at everyone's personal highest.
Personal highest. Well, now
Yeah.
how would we go about doing that if we don't have that
This-
information in the spreadsheet?
No, the same thing you had for the lowest scores.
Oh, you mean individualized highest? Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
I was confused there for a sec.
No,
Clearly.
Nigel, you with me?
Yes.
Paul, you kind of with me? All right.
Oh, I'm
shit.
completely with you.
Oh, I knew you were.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where Paul
Yeah.
sits half the time. I knew where Joe was sitting, but
Hey,
it's because I don't know if that's just like a green screen behind you, right? So I don't actually know where you sit.
don't make me turn on that green
As was
screen. Don't
Brought
make me
up in
turn that on.
previous episodes.
Freezing, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's cold outside in Canada right now.
Okay.
And yeah, as far as Ben's comment in the chat there, saying that like being proven that my hatred is real. Yeah, if you knew me in real life, that would never be a question.
It would never come up.
It's so true. It's so goddamn true. It's so true. I like the guy, but it's,
I'm a cynical bastard.
He knows how to hate stuff, man. He's good at it.
Yeah, yeah.
On the total opposite note of that, Dennis, your highest score was the Rustic Gent. Go figure.
the
Weird.
93 and
These
the
are-
Wasp and the 91. Oh, Jesus.
These
really?
are
okay.
These are Dennis's highest scores. Yeah.
And actually, if you look at the 4 out of the 5, I'm pretty sure that is 4 out of the 5. The exception is the Belarus because all y'all can suck it. But I don't know what number 5 is out of on the overall top that mine's not. But my personal scores are 4 out of 5 of our overall scores.
Mhm.
Oh, it was the large ego. That was the some bitch, apparently.
Which is this guy here, yeah. Which
Yeah,
ranked
yeah.
below the Penguin. Yeah. By only 1 point, though, so that's fine. That's fine.
But above the Pleroma, which is interesting, but that's because I got a shitty Wii knife. I got one that was just shitty, and I took it back, and now it's a goddamn work of art. Like,
Yeah.
it's so
It really is.
beautiful. Yeah.
I need to get myself one of them.
Anyway,
Mayhaps.
next top score.
Next top score. All right.
Nigel wasn't going to yell it, but, you know.
It's across the board. It's the Rustic Jet for us, the top.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I mean, that's how
Nigel's
you
top
get
score in
top score.
87? You haven't cracked a 90? Because the rest of us did.
I don't know. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I was just going to do them in order.
I'm gonna be
heading from
surprised.
left to
No,
right.
that's that's fine.
Um,
That's one of the things I am actually super curious about because I know the rest of us have scored over 90s.
so
Mhm.
those,
For me, a couple scores now. Yeah.
I think one.
So those are my top 5. Rustic Gent tops it, followed by Wasp, 707, the Nightstick, and the Pardue. Yep.
Oh, look at this guy throwing some wrenches in the mix. And the party was up there, but you had 3 out of the 5. Yeah. 707
No.
and the Nightstick. You gave the Spyderco Nightstick number 4.
It got an
Jimmy.
87, man. I really fucking like that knife.
Jeez.
It's
Jimmy.
nice.
Gave it a 70.
I gave
I like
it a
it too.
70. Yeah. I gave it a 73.
I almost gave it an 80.
I thought about it before I didn't.
My personal scores, I remember my personal scores were quite high compared to everyone else's. But I think my
The
objectives.
sheath. You gave that piece of shit Bolteron sheath a fucking like 10 or some bullshit.
I like it.
That's why.
I know you
that
did. But I know Nigel fucking lost his shit when he was like Iota Kumo that you could go to hell about.
That sheep does not deserve a 10.
Joe's on blue.
Gross.
I have the score sheets somewhere on my computer. I could.
Oh, we
Next high score.
Yeah.
picked and combed. We picked and combed for sure.
Yeah.
Don't like any of that.
Picking
don't
or
have to.
combing?
They're-
You shouldn't,
Picking and combing.
especially when it
Yeah,
comes to a high
sometimes you
score.
need to.
All right. Sorting by Nigel's. Yeah, Rustic Gent again.
87. You did not crack the 90s,
No,
sir.
no.
Excellent. Jeez, and only 2 scores above 80.
Excellent.
Holy shit! You gave the 707
Oh, no,
number.
there's more.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
it took some time to update. So for 80,
Yeah,
Yeah.
my bad.
you did give 4, 5, 6, 7 scores and 80 or higher. So you have been generous. Well, maybe not generous. I think those knives deserved it.
I gave more scores below 60 than I did above 80.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you sure did.
Where was
You
the
sure
number
did.
there? Yeah, jeez, man. Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. I hate things.
You like that gold
Yeah.
class though, hey? Everybody liked that gold class though.
Go down to the
Good looking
bottom
gold class.
for a second.
Yep.
Of Nigel's list, there was something I think I. Sorry, just the delay on the video, right? But the Chief, yeah. Oh, the Chief took a beating. That was the one. Okay, the CRKT.
Yeah.
You scored the CRKT slacker higher than the Chief.
Only by 1 point, but yeah.
Oh, that
Okay,
hurts.
so I am curious, and I don't think this is going to be a standard thing on the spreadsheet, but I am curious as to know what the average scores would be without Nigel's score, or in cases where I really hated a knife, without the one dissenter, like what the averages would actually look like.
Without
in
the
that
lowest
case.
score.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just in those particular cases where Nigel really
In the
fucking-
extreme ones.
Yeah, just because he really fucking hated that knife.
Like I said, some of the earlier videos, especially, there was some zeros that came out that I was like, oh my goodness, like it's who is on the hate train? Not Joe so much. Actually, I will say Joe was probably the most rounded out of all of us as far as like probably the scores and like not giving hate in certain categories. I probably should have,
I tried.
but I tried.
I tried.
Next high score.
I'm curious here now.
I will move on in a second here. I'm just trying to.
He's
Ugh.
just trying to.
I'll have to come back to that later.
And like I said, looking back on it, you got a Thero higher than you've got a Pleroma, then you've got a Chief. Like, holy shit, Nigel.
I wasn't a fan of the Pleroma.
I know. I'm just looking at some of those all over the map. Like, look at your Boilermakers.
Yeah,
Oh, the
but
Boilermaker.
I gave I scrolled too weird there. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry.
But
there's
one of the
some
ones
delay.
you mentioned there was 1 point above the Pleroma.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. Like 62 and 61.
Okay. So now this is Paul's highest to lowest. Yeah, you broke that 90 to give the Rustic Gent a 93.
Just the one.
Yeah. But you've given out a decent amount of 80s. 80s and higher, I should say.
Ooh, okay. Smock gets
I'm the
number 3,
outlier
you
here.
say.
I'm only.
What was that, Paul?
Said I'm the outlier. I've only got 2 in the top 5.
And
got
I
a top
was just
6.
noticing that, but weren't you not there for the Wasp review?
I was not there for the Wasp review.
You were not. So,
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
Makes sense. You
that's
would.
fair.
Yeah, I could see you ranking that pretty highly.
Yeah, I probably would have been in and around Dennis.
Nope.
I don't like that sentence. I'm gonna delete that. We're gonna throw that away. And my score would have been around 90.
Let's go take 2.
'Cause that's how real life works.
we'll see about that.
Statistical
Um,
averaging. Yeah, Ben, you're not
The
kidding.
one thing I've also noticed in this whole shenanigans is how much the mini Gold Class Crooked River scored higher than the regular Gold Class Crooked River.
The one that was
Holy
$1,500.
American, like
Yeah, it was $2,000 Canadian, right?
it was pushing the $2,000 polar bear marker.
Yeah.
And it was also pushing the line of tackiness with how bleeny sparkly it was with the cracked ice finish on it and stuff.
It's a gold class. It's supposed to drip.
Don't say it like that.
No.
Yeah.
There has been some gold class that has not been drippy. There has been some gold class that has been
I'm not saying
like a tiger.
I was saying, but I agree with you. You can have beautifully classy, gorgeous, but sometimes something that drips has got its place. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It was
But
nice.
before we
Yeah.
get too much,
Over
before
top
we
of a
get-
towel. Like,
yeah,
it's-
before we get any stickier with Paul's dripping over there, I think we should cut this off.
No,
We're getting close. We're getting close.
It's 9:25, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, can we just forget that those comments were made? Is that
It was a funny segment. I had to jump on it when I could.
No, I understand jumping on the drip, but man,
Jumping on the drip.
on the list of things that are not okay, right on that list.
So, I'm just going to throw it out there, and I don't know what 2021 is going to bring, but it might be interesting trying to get new products and stuff like that. So you might see some like old model product reviews, but that's also to help establish score boards, score lines, score charts that we can make standard things.
The benchmark, Keystone, flagship.
Yeah. Those things. Yeah, for sure. So you might see some of that, but we'll try to actually like basically split them off, maybe even 2 reviews in one episode and see if we can get through them quick, because we don't really need to comment on something that's been around for 8 years. You don't need to hear about the stats on a PM2 and how we feel. We can just be like, hey, these are our scores. Here's established. Yeah. Here's how they fit in the categories, and we can highlight them as standards to stay around.
I think their relationship with the next closest scores is going to be the most important part of that video. Is like, where does this realistically stand, at least as far as how we feel about shit. Yeah.
And then for me, my vote is top 3. Sons of bitches. We didn't hear anything back from any of the crowd because apparently their opinion, they're keeping to themselves. And then they're just going to complain when we do it wrong. Because I think that's the standard of what goes on around here. So,
have you not been on the internet before?
Them, and then we will ignore them because that is also the standard thing around here.
that is also the thing. Yeah.
What was
that? Make an apology 3 episodes later. You know.
Or not.
Maybe.
It was more. It was more than 3.
It was more than 3. Glad we're on the same page.
Man.
It does.
A man lost his dog.
His dog died, man.
I still feel bad.
Yeah. Not our
I'm
best
still
moment.
laughing. I don't care. Anyway.
Speaking of dog, I just wanted to say one thing. Did anybody else watch the Cedric and Ada video of the Roomba trying to
Vacuuming.
vacuum around his dog.
Fucking adorable.
Because
I didn't.
if you haven't, go and watch it right now. It's amazing and adorable.
Right now?
And-
No, just the quick little clip he put up on Instagram, but he did put up like an almost 2-minute one on YouTube.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's funny.
But like I was saying, boys, what's your input? Top 3 or top 5? What do you want?
I think top 3.
Yeah.
If you can all get on board with top 3.
I mean,
I
I'm
would
on
be-
board with that. I was going to say top 5, but I'm on board with top 3.
That's right.
I
Ben to the
want,
masses.
I just want to be cutthroat a little bit about it.
Yeah.
I just want to be a little more like no dilly-dallying around. Next year, if you don't make the top 3, you get off the podium type of thing, right?
I think that'll work, especially since we gave the Rustic Gent a fucking 90.75. Like, I don't know what's going to possibly top that. So, yeah, top 3 it is. Because
2021 is going to make some interesting year. Let's just put it that way, because
Yeah.
holy, like for the things that we do know about and the things that we're not allowed to talk about and all the other fun stuff going on. Yeah, for sure. It's going to be an interesting year.
Yes.
Indeed.
you heard it here first,
Also, I
folks.
just want to say, Justin, that's racist. Be nice.
Valid point.
but also
But
racist.
Yeah. Yes, I am. That was the whitest I've ever been.
So yeah, on that note, I would like to thank John for lending us the Yodium, because I don't believe we actually thanked him earlier on in the evening.
We may not have mentioned it early on.
Yeah. So
He did.
thanks for lending us the knife for our review tonight, brother. That was awesome of you.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
It's a fun little knife. I'm glad we got to play
Mhm.
with it because it's something unique. That's for sure.
That it is.
Yeah.
And make sure you head on over to Patreon to see what sorts of prizes and giveaways and stuff that we have coming down the works over there in the future. And speaking of prizes and giveaways and stuff, follow up on the YouTube thing and figure out which video to answer the question in.
Indeed. Also, head on over to Instagram. We're like 5 or 6 people away from 1,000 followers on that, and that's another giveaway. So
Mhm.
And we're trying not to count the Damascus knives, guys, because they come
Trying
and
not
go.
to.
We're trying to go with a good solid 1,000. So
I don't follow them back, so they usually unfollow me very quickly.
Mhm.
Just block them. Just be savage about it.
But
Just
yeah,
block.
there's a good chance that we're gonna have 2 giveaways going on at the same time. It's a 2-for-1 and free to enter. We're not doing a Patreon. We're gonna do both on Instagram, both on YouTube. Hopefully you can get on them both. But we got to crack those markers, and then we're on to the next bigger and badder
Last
giveaway.
one.
And
Mhm.
yeah, this one's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
a fun one. Speaking of on
Yeah,
the
it
giveaway.
was- oh, go ahead.
No, you do it. Do it.
Okay, I was going to say, speaking of moving on to the next, we should be moving on from this episode on to the next.
I see what's going on. Yeah.
Was there something important you were about to say about contest there? Or?
No, we were going to do some items, but we can sort out the details other than what you've put on the chopping block already. So,
Mhm. Yeah, we can tease that up for the future.
yeah,
There will be additions to the prizes potentially and whatnot like that. So, yeah,
that's where my brain went.
And
Yeah.
whatnot.
stay
and
tuned.
such like that.
Yeah, we'll wrap up the evening here. This is Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I am. I'm Dennis Vipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
Exile.ca.
We will catch you again next time.
We don't need bigger knife. Yeah.